Why, hello, happy stampers. My name is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com. I'm here in the United States. I'd like to welcome all of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook Live or even my replay viewers. Say hello as you come in or as you watch this. Make sure you comment and say hello, share this video. This is going to be a fun one. I remember when I was in a junior high, or they call it middle school now, we had after school activities, and one was doing some crafts. And I remember doing these frames. I don't know how many of you remember this, but we used to take cards and we used to cut images out and parts of images out, and we would layer them and kind of pop them up, and then we'd Mod Podge over the top of them. So I want to kind of use that technique idea here today for my card and show you how you could add layers to your images very easily. So I am using the Filled with Cheer stamp set, and this stamp set is from our online exclusives. So we are going to get started with it. I am using this image here with the snowman and the Christmas tree and sled, and we're going to be sending a warm hello. So this stamp set does have 8 images, and it has a wagon, and you can fill the wagon with these presents. And we have some dies in the online store with another wagon set. I don't remember the name. I forgot to check before I came on today. But I've heard that the die for the wagon will cut this one out. So if you're looking to do some die cutting. So I've already die cut this circle, and this is from the Spotlight on Nature dies, which I love, and you find me using these a lot. I have already pre-embossed a piece of boho blue with the So Swirly embossing folders. Do you guys love how big these embossing folders are? I just love them because you can do several different size cards with these. You can do big cards and still emboss, whereas before you had to run it through twice, and now you can run it through once. Then we have the dotted circle dies. Lots of movement in this card. So I've got that and a piece of old olive. And then my card base is going to be pool party. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half and burnish that score line. So we've got that out of the way. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to go ahead and assemble the card base right away. So I'm going to be putting my boho blue on, and you can use either side. But I just love this die because it reminds me of like the wind blowing the snow throughout the air. And if I had thought of it, I would have spattered, and I could still do that, spatter some white craft ink onto that to so that it's like it's snow. Okay, got that here. Then on our old olive, I'm going to use some ribbon, and this is our an online exclusive, and it's the white ribbon that's on there, and it's got a kind of frayed edges, so even more texture on this. Now I do want to pay attention when I put this on because of where the circles are. I want to line up my image to this larger circle. So we're going to be up more than we are down. So we are going to put this across the bottom right here. And that is quite simple. You can also, I use Terran tape a lot to put my ribbons on. Oops. So that it holds that ribbon down also. Just does double duty. Okay. There we go. Go ahead, and we're going to just put this on here. And I'm going to put it down and leaving more space at the top. Just because of where my circle is going to be, because I'm going to be going above the circle yet. So my circle, and I need to make sure that I have room up above here. Okay, so we have that done. Our card base is ready. Now we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to take my image and I'm going to stamp it onto the circle. And the image is larger than the circle. I want to make sure that my snowman is on. So part of the sled is not going to stamp on here, but it's okay because we're actually going to be layering. So when you look at this image, you will see that the snowman is up in the foreground. And then the tree is in the background and the sled is in between. So it looks great if you just stamp and color it. But like I said, I got this idea actually laying in bed and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to color my tree. So I've got my Real Red Stampin' Blend and I'm going to just color all these ornaments. You could color them different colors, but I just wanted to keep it simple today. And then part of my sled, I'm going to do the handle here. And you're going to notice that I've got some cutouts here. Okay, but we're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about that at all because I have a fix for that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and color my sled. I'm not going to color the entire sled because we're not going to see the entire sled. I am just going to outline. Okay, just like that. So you don't have to color the entire sled yet. I do, however, want to do the rails. And the rails you could do red, but I am going to do them with my light smoky slate. And I'm using my brush tip. I know I always tell you guys use the other side, but the brush tip is a little bit finer and mine is drying out. Use this one a lot. So I am just going to do all the metal on here with my light smoky slate. I do want to color my tree and I'm using the light mossy meadow. And we do want to color this correctly. We don't just do the outside on this image because we're not going to be layering on this image at all. And I don't color it all the way in because I want it to be like there's snow on my tree. So I'm just scribbling. Okay, like I said, you don't have to get all that color in there. Just scribble. This is one time you don't have to stay in the lines and worry about it. Okay, so we've done that. Now I'm going to grab, oh, sorry, I don't have my dark mossy meadow here. So I'm just going to go over the top in some areas with my light. And that's going to add some dimension to my tree. Not a lot, just some. Okay, and see, it looks like we have snow. Then we're going to take our Daffodil Delight and we are going to do the star on top. Then I'm going to take my light balmy blue and I am going to go and add some snow to the bottom here and add a little bit of shadowing to my tree. Just going around the outside, just forming a shadow. Okay. You could also use the pool party. I'm just going around here. Then I'm going to grab my color lifter and I'm going to go around what I just colored. And I'm going to use my color lifter, so that's going to lift up some of that color. And I'm even going beyond, so it may actually kind of act like a blending pen and pull that color out a little bit. but I do want that just a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to go over, and it will lighten as as it dries. Okay. So next I want to do, I want to do his hat. So I'm going to be using the basic black, and I'm using the dark basic black for underneath the rim. Now, once again, I don't have to color the entire thing because we're not going to see the entire image because we're going to layer on top of that. So I am just going to go around the edges. And then for my scarf, I am going to use Highland Heather, and I'm using the dark on this layer because I want it to look like a shadow if you happen to see the underneath part. Okay, his nose. We need our pumpkin pie for his nose. And because we're going to see some of it, we're just going to do it right there. Now, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead. I am going to grab my pool party. And on the snow down on the bottom, I'm just going to do a little bit of shadowing here and just make some snowdrifts. Just kind of scribble. Okay, so now we need our next layer. And we're going to need all of these again. So I am already stamped these images and cut them out. So I stamped another snowman and I stamped another sled. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and put those here. And we're going to color these completely. So I'm going to start with my Highland Heather as a band and his scarf. And I forgot to do the band on his hat. So we'll get that as soon as I'm done with this. And you notice I didn't color real even. I kind of went around a little bit. So it's just as easy to color the whole band there. Okay, so now we need to do his hat. And we're going to do it the basic black here, the light. And I'm just going from the outside in. Oh, you know what? This is the smoky slate. Don't want smoky slate. I actually want the black. So just go over the top. And I'm doing these in strokes because I want a little bit of white in the center. Once again, like snow. Then underneath his brim with the dark, because there's a little bit of shadowing there. Okay, and you're going to notice he's missing an arm. That's because one arm is behind a little bit. So you have to kind of use your imagination here when you are cutting your images out. Take a look at where the placement of the images. I do want to take, I'm going to grab my light Pretty in Pink. I want him to have a little cheek. Okay, so I did a cheek, but once again, I'm going to take my color lifter. I want that a little bit lighter. I'm going to go over that, and that will lighten for me. Okay, pool party. And we are just going to give the snow just a little bit of a shadow, and then along his body a little bit. And underneath that brim. Once again, I'm taking that color lifter and just lifting up some color. You don't have to do it a lot. I just want a little bit of that color lifted. Okay, so he is colored. You know what? I want to do a little bit here. The artist has got some shadowing up here. And because this is lighter than that balmy blue, he's going to stand out. Okay, now we need to color our sled. You remember, we colored the runners here with the smoky slate light. Let's get this up here. Like that. Then we're going to get our pecan, or no, yes, no, the SU 500. This is the neutrals. This is our naturals blends, and I love the browns because you can use them for more than skin tones. Okay, and then I go over a second time in just some areas so it's a little bit darker. Very quick to do this. Okay, and then we're going to color the handle red. I always enjoyed sledding when I was a child. Still do as an adult. Okay, so now we are going to pull our base back. Now the sled is here, and it is the next layer up from that tree. So we are going to put, I don't know if 2 dimensionals will fit on there. Oops, I got my minis here. So I'm going to grab a mini dimensional. Let's grab a mini too. I do want them to stand up. Now, I can't quite remember back when I was in 7th and 8th grade. I think we used this real thick glue to layer this stuff on. So this is going to be our next layer. Okay, so that is going to pop up in front of that tree. And see why it didn't matter that we went over those holes, because this is covering it up. Now, our snowman is going to be even higher. So with our snowman, we need to do double duty with our dimensionals. So we are going to do it 2 thick. Put that one there. We need at least a half a one here on his arm, because we don't want that to flap out and get ripped off. So we want to make sure we secure that arm. Got that. And another half. So yeah, this card, correct. It's a thicker card. So you may need more postage. I don't know. I don't worry about that. I'm not going to send a card like this to everybody. And this isn't, you could do it as a Christmas card. I'm not doing it as a Christmas card. I'm doing this as a card just to send a friend to say hello. So I'm stacking these on top of one another. And like I said, when we used to do these frames, we would use glue. So now I'm going to cut this a little bit thinner because that snow does need to be secured. So I want just 2 real thin strips there because we need to double them up. I'm going to put that right here. Remove the adhesive or the tab on the one side. It does get a little bit more difficult when they're small. But you could do this could be a framed art piece, you guys. You know, don't just think cards. Okay, so now we're going to layer this on top. And see how I said I only cut one arm? Because this one is behind the snowman. So we are going to layer this on top. And we need to put it over him. And that is why, oops, well, it's stuck down and I didn't want it to stick down yet. Let me get this up. So I want to line up his hat and his arm and the end of his body there. And it is in front of that sled. So see how when you look at it that way, the snowman is on top of the sled and the sled is on top of the tree. So it is layered up. And look at all that dimension. It really does look like his arm is back there. So now we're going to go ahead and stamp, sorry, a sentiment. And it's going to be a warm hello. I'm using the boho blue. Put this on here. Now, when I put this on, oh my gosh, I got my finger on there. Oh no, it's okay. We are actually going to put it so he's holding it here and it's going to be flat down on here. So we need to put dimensionals on this side. Okay, so I am going to use the mini dimensionals for this because I already have dimensionals. I thought I smudged it, but that was a bad one from before. I actually did this card, but I didn't do it with all these layers for a swap that I did. So this side is going to be all the way up and the other side is going to go flat down. So I am going to use my seal, Stampin' Seal for that. And we are going to do this. Okay, so you see how it's popped up on that side and it's flat on this side. So that's giving it a dimension like it's going backwards. Okay, but here's another little trick. I want to make it look like he's actually holding the sign. So I've got my old Stampin' Right marker and I am just going to bring these lines up here. So these 3 lines are going up. This one's already up and these are behind. I'm actually going to bring this one up here. So it looks like it's between his fingers of the sticks, of the twigs. Okay, isn't that so cute? How many of you did this technique when you were young? Let me know. I was going to use a little bit of Wink of Stella and add a little bit of shine to this guy. So we are going to put some Wink of Stella on him. Okay, and then on all the ornaments. Just for a little bit of glimmer. And the star up on top. Okay, so now we're going to get our card base and we're going to adhere this to our card base. Just add some Stampin' Seal. Now at this point when I was young, we would take and use the Mod Podge and go over all these pieces and then they would be nice and shiny and protected. But isn't that cute? And look at all that dimension on this card. I wish you guys could see it in real life because it is so cute. So I encourage you to take a look at your images and do a little bit of fussy cutting and have fun with it. It's going to change the look of your stamped image once you start doing this technique. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, everybody, happy stamping!